Generally, there's a couple of weeks in between the time we film something in the bee yard and get it edited and up on YouTube. So for reference, it's August 31st, which means we have about 2 brood cycles to get everything correct for winter. Come mid-October, things get cold and brood kind of really slows down to a crawl. So it's time to get things right. Once again, it was fairly early in the morning, and the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to pick up each hive and get an idea of how much the hives weighed. That will throw any really big red flags. If you pick up a box, if you pick up a hive, and it feels like it's an empty wooden box, you got some real trouble. On the other hand, if you pick something up and it has some heft to it, then you know, well, at least as far as stores go, that the reserves are in good shape. We were coming out of the dearth and goldenrod was starting to come into bloom, but this is still a dangerous time where, you know, the bees have poured back from the original spring flow. They've been consuming a lot of material, and they could very well starve before they, get enough of a source from the goldenrod. We had left a lot of honey on these hives, so I didn't expect to run into any problems, and honestly, the only one I really had problems with was our little op hive. Just didn't have much of a reserve to it. I also went through and checked the whiteboards, and you see me putting a brick on that hive. It's because I found a lot of wax moth larvae down on the whiteboard, and that's a bit of a red flag, so we want to go into that hive at some point and see what's going on. And the first thing we're going to do is check reserves and check general population. So our tiny hive needs a bit more encouragement. I happen to have some very old goldenrod honey from a few years back, and I'm going to give that to them along with a pollen patty, and hopefully that'll get them going. There's a good chance that they're going to get combined with our hive that we think might be queenless, might have a queen, I don't know, but they're both very small colonies, so unless they start really percolating going into the fall, probably going to combine them before winter, but we'll see how it goes. So my director for both the band that I play with and for the choral work that I do has been imploring me to make sure that I wear gloves so I can still play bass and not have my hands stung up, and a veil so I don't come showing up like a prize fighter like I did once. On this hive we stuck the pollen patty in and then carefully negotiated the position of the honey jar, and they should enjoy that. Goldenrod honey is very, very thick with nutrients, so hopefully they will enjoy. Top feeding like this will help prevent robbing. The last thing you want to do, even though goldenrod has started up, put a big pile of honey in the open. It's early in the morning, so I'm going to do 2 runs through. The first run through is just to determine what type of stores they might have. So I'm not going to go deep in these hives. I'll come back later and take a closer look. So I'll make sure these girls have honey supply. Not too sure I'm happy with these newer screen boards. They do seem to come apart. Side frame solid honey. Seeing good stores of honey. And that's all I'm checking right now on this run through. Later in the day, we'll do more of a formalized hive inspection. I put a brick on this colony, and I'm not going to go deep into it right now, but there were a lot of wax moths downstairs. It There's a lot of bees upstairs, though. I really am looking for honey stores more than anything right now. And I can see we've got good honey stores. So I'm going to come back into this colony later today, get a better look at what's going on. Oh God. Unfortunately, they're climbing right where they would get squished, so we have to knock them down. Come on, I don't want to hit anybody. I am going to put a standing brick on it, which is my cue that something might be going on. Again, population looks good. And we're just going to check for stores. Some stores, these were extracted supers, so, you know, not expecting that they filled them up. But I just want to make sure that, yeah, they've got enough to go through to peak goldenrod, and they do. This was the hive we discovered was queenless. We put a frame in there. I don't know whether they've raised or made it a queen yet. I'm not sure I'm going to go all the way down to check this morning. There is honey in this super. This hive is a lot quieter than it was. 14 days is normally enough time, if you have the capped queen cells, for them to have the queen hatch, have the queen mated, and at least get some eggs laid. I don't even know that we have necessarily any eggs laid, but I'm going to go downstairs and see where we're at. And I am putting this super on its side. Hopefully I'll remember to put it on the correct way. I see pollen stores. Pollen stores. I see some cleared cells. I have a mixed takeaway on this hive. Although I'm not seeing evidence of a laying queen in here. The bees are a lot more docile, a lot quieter. Takeaway would be they may very well have a hatched and fertile queen that has not started laying yet. I'm not seeing the roar that I would see in a queenless hive. But we don't really see any signs of eggs. There's a couple of capped cells in there, but they could have been left over from when I brought the frame over. So we wait another week on this one. Generally, the longer a hive has become queenless, the louder the bees get, the crazier the bees get. These guys seem to be quiet and organized. So my takeaway is there may very well be a queen in there, even though I'm not seeing eggs yet. This is one we threw it deep on top. I'm just going to pop this super and get an idea of the weight of it. Okay. Full of bees. Just going to try to get a weight check. On the upper. Good deal of honey. I'm happy. Once again, we wrap another day at Buzz Park. We're going to come back and look at a few more of these. And tune in next week for that. Have a great week.